Alright, you guys. The original part 2 will not upload. I do not know why. So I'm re-recording. It's now, almost 6 o'clock in the evening. The sun's down. I've got to turn on the lights because, it's so dark in this room. So he's going to jail. He'll be sentenced on April 6th. And during the time I uploaded part 1 and have been trying to upload part 2, someone commented that, I fought the fight, it's over, and I should put it behind me. And don't give him my power or something to that effect. I just saw the comment real briefly on my phone. And this is not an issue that has been plaguing me every day. It's not something I think about every day. But it's a subtle current that resides with me and my time here. I take care of people that don't look like me at the hospital, and I could care less about that. But I come into the room and I say, "Hi, I'm Regina, I'll be your nurse for tonight." And 7 out of 10 times the person will say, "Do you live here?" And I always say, "I live here now." And it's like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? And maybe 5 out of 10 times, their next follow-up question is, "How long have you been a nurse? What school did you go to? When did you graduate?" Dude, I'm fully credentialed to work here. Do you seriously think that this hospital would jeopardize their federal funding, their JCO status, for my one black ass? Shut the fuck up, be in this goddamn bed, and let me take care of you. Is what I want to say, but I don't. Instead I say, "Oh, I've been a nurse several years. I've been at this hospital for the last 3. Are you currently having any pain right now, sir? Are you currently having any pain right now, ma'am?" And to my Caucasian friends, I know that you can't understand this very easily on an emotional level. I know intellectually you can understand it, but on an emotional level you can't. But just imagine where the place you work right now only has 5 other folks that look like you. Everybody else looks like me. How would you feel every day? You can't even imagine how you could feel, because in your realm of reference, it would never happen unless you went to Africa, unless you went to the Middle East, unless you went to Asia. Everybody is pretty much going to look like you, and you're going to fit in, and nobody's going to probably question your credentials to be there and to assist them. So it's just, like I said, it's not something that has weighed on me, every day. It's like, oh my God, I'm a black person. No, but when I have that 1 or 2 patients a week that ask me, where I went to school and how long have I been a nurse and do I live in this town? And actually this week, this guy who had a carotid endarterectomy, which meant that his carotid, you always see them checking for that. Oh, is the person dead? That's your carotid artery. Had a blockage in his carotid artery, almost to the base of his skull. I'm taking care of him several hours post-op, and he asked me, when did I graduate nursing school? And I told him. And then he said, "Oh, and are you from here?" "No, I moved here several years ago. I've been at this hospital for 3 years. And he said, "Oh yeah, we have a lot of imports now." Breathe deeply. Continue to do your job and not get into this discussion with him, because he's ridiculous. You have an artery, major carotid artery, blocked, no blood flow, and you care. Guess what? Can I tell you that the vascular surgeon that did him is African? Not even African American. Straight up from Africa. Currently living here, currently practicing here in this rural community. Why? Because they need a vascular surgeon. Why? Because people are jacked up here and have poor diets, and you know that whole corn-fed farm life. Yeah, it's not great for your arteries. So a vascular surgeon was recruited, and he just happens to be African. So I don't want to get into a whole race relations philosophical discussion in the comments or on YouTube at all. I was trying to share something that happened to me last year and how it's resolved itself. And just to say, you know, that's one of the things that's just been weighing on me. And it also weighs on me because I'm not sure if I want to stay in this community. And yes, there has been a browning of Chambersburg. You know, we're not that far from Harrisburg and we're not that far from Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. So if people want to commute and, you know, live in a community that's real estate is much cheaper, schools are probably a little bit better than the inner city, but can still work in the inner city, you know, this is a good option for those people seeking that. So it happened. I thought it was ridiculous and I took it as far as I could, and I am 100% happy with the outcome. Again, District Attorney Matt Fogel was freaking amazing. State troopers here were amazing. Victim, I think it was Victim and Witness Advocacy Office was wonderful. And just totally switching gears. I did not make it to support group at my hospital because I worked. But I happened to be off the other night when my hospital, who also does bariatric surgery, had theirs. And I went and it was freaking awesome. Love it. Probably going back to theirs. So they had a topic, and the topic was vitamins. And the dietitian, her name was Louise, and she was awesome. She gave out this handout, and you can't read it, but it reviews the top 8 brands of vitamin, what's listed, and the percentages that are contained within these 8 brands. Their office has decided that because of cost, availability, and what's contained in the vitamin, that they recommend 2 Flintstone Complete Chewable Vitamins to their patients. Readily available, inexpensive, and it gives their patients everything that they would like them to have. But she was saying if you want a designer vitamin such as Bariatric Advantage or Building Blocks or whatever, you know, feel free, have at it, whatever. But Flintstone's Complete Chewable, absolutely appropriate for you. 2 a day. 2 a day for gastric bypassers and 1 a day for bandsters. So also they talked about our requirements for protein, calcium, and B complex vitamins. 30 milligrams of iron a day, 1,500 to 2,000 of calcium citrate daily, and a vitamin B complex vitamin is great, and weekly sublingual B12 1,000 micrograms a week is sufficient. Did I read that right? 1,000 micrograms sublingual B12 sufficient. Don't need to take it every day, she said, and you don't need to take it several times a day, once a week, which is great because I'm totally inconsistent, so that's awesome. I do like Bariatric Advantage, 29 milligrams chewable passion fruit iron. Sweet tart, tasting little candy. Um, Iron tablet is terrific. My weight is 186.4. Pretty much exactly the same as I was the last time because that's what my body's doing right now, and I'm okay with that because I'm not very diligent with my diet, I'm not very diligent with my water, and I'm not very consistent with my exercise at this point in time. So I'm totally happy with what's going on. I think my belly looks fine. There's my incision. It's dark, it's pretty smooth, and I'm still wearing the silicone Scarway strips. I'm still using Kilo Coat, and I'm still massaging with bio oil. Starting to get a nice bit of definition here. Turn from the side, nice and flat. Definitely got to get my back fat taken care of. From the other side. And again, if I have on like panties or pants or whatever, you don't see my incision. And this is from my lap band. That was one of my scars from that. And again, it is smaller and it is lightened. It was very, very dark before. And I do use the Kilo Coat on that. So September, October, I'll have Dr. Katzen do torsoplasty, also brachioplasty. As you can see, I've got a good amount of hanging skin here. And if we go like this, we can see that that would be a really nice result. That, not so nice. Definitely needs to get taken care of. Will I have the breast lift augmentation? I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I want it. Don't want the incisions, the scars, but I want it. I don't want to pay for it, but I want it. So who knows? But I said I didn't want brachioplasty. I didn't want that scar. And now it's like, yeah, there's no getting around it, kid. You got to get it done. So who knows what I'm going to decide about the breast lift and augmentation. So just wrapping up, again, I don't want to get into a race relations dialogue in the comments. This was something that happened to me. It's done. It's over. April 6th, he gets sentenced. I'll be there with bells on, and I can't wait. And I'm probably going to continue to hear patients ask me if I'm from this community. Am I related to such and such? Did I go to school? Do I live? I'm not going to get around that. But it's also one of the things that makes me not want to stay in this community. And, you know, everything has a season. And when I chose to move here, I knew that this would not be long term. I had some goals in mind. I wanted a certain thing from them. They had a nursing residency program for 18 months. That was a transition from nursing school to nursing practice, and it was a lot more education than and orientation than most hospitals give. And you're only a graduate nurse once. You know, it's like your virginity. Once you give that up, it's gone, it's whatever. So in nursing, your first job, you really need to go wherever is going to give you the most education and the most of what you're looking for. So I did that. All right, guys, I'm rambling, but thanks for listening. And again, a huge weight has been lifted off me, literally and figuratively. All right, wah, wah, wah.